hang on there. Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Jonathan Higbee here. As promised, we're going to do a street photo walk in Midtown Manhattan in New York City, and I really hope to at least just show you another perspective on how to shoot street, or even how to shoot photography in general. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I think just another.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
You're live.
Sorry about that, guys. We're doing this live on Facebook, so there could be technical difficulties. Just hang out with us. Wait a few seconds. We should be able to figure it out, whether it's a lost connection or audio or something like that. As I was saying, I hope to, with this, give at least a new perspective for everybody, show you a little bit of insight into how I make my street photos. And of course, if any question pops up, please ask. I'm here to answer questions and show you a little bit behind the curtain. So I have my producer, Mark Beckenbach. I've never said your name out loud.
Yeah.
Is that, did I pronounce it right?
You got it, you nailed it.
Yeah. Mark Beckenbach is a good friend of mine, a fellow street photographer. Look up his work. He's helping me produce this. And we're going to see how it goes. If this goes well, if you guys get a lot out of it, this could become a regular thing. So let's get started. We're in Hell's Kitchen now. Actually, yeah, we're in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, heading toward the light on 9th Avenue. Once we find the light, we're going to walk north and hopefully stay in the light. As I was saying on my Instagram pre-show, it's Midtown is especially hard for getting good lighting. Mostly in winter, obviously. You have such shadows cast from all the big buildings. It's difficult to find good lighting. But I love to shoot in the middle of the day. I love to shoot with bright, direct sun. My photos, especially my street photos, are known for punchy colors and dark darks, pretty high contrast. I try not to make it too high. And this is largely because I shoot, or prefer to shoot, in the middle of the day with the harshest sunlight possible, I think. Especially for New York, and especially for the kind of shots that I like to produce, I think harsh sun really makes it all synergistic. It works together. So we're going to go try and find some sun.
Mike Paul says hello, and happy Monday.
Hey, Mike. Happy Monday. Happy MLK Day. Happy holiday. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for watching. So what I normally do for my main street style, the stuff that I'm known for, the stuff that really resonates with me, what I do is I walk around the city. I look for advertisements or street art or public art or even architecture or geometry at a particular intersection or on a particular street. Anything like that has nothing to do with people, just the environment. I look for context and environment that really resonates with me, that will help me feel like something is possible, that something magical can happen. I particularly like advertisements. I've been working for a few years on a street series called Consumed. It's doing really well. It was one of Lens Culture's top 100 this year. But Consumed is particularly about consumerism, advertising culture, mass marketing, and that's easy, really easy to absorb in Manhattan especially. So what I normally do is walk around, I look for advertisements that are weird or surreal or even just bold and graphic with colors, and if I'm lucky and find one, it's actually pretty rare for me to find one. If I'm lucky and find one, I will continue to come back to that spot for days on end and wait and shoot until something magical happens. So that's what we're going to start out doing today. In the meantime, I'm going to be shooting interesting characters or anything else that happens while we are hunting for a really cool street environment, street shot. So let's walk. If I see, let's go north. If I see someone interesting, I'll shoot them. Feel free to ask questions while we're doing this. meantime, just enjoy the ambiance of New York City. Yeah, the light's pretty good for a while here. So let's walk up. I mainly shoot from the hip. I almost never use the viewfinder to compose a shot. I shoot from the hip for many reasons. I find it easier to compose through the LCD screen of the camera. I find it's less obtrusive and noticeable and doesn't disturb the people around as much as pulling up like a paparazzi and shooting. And also I shoot with a 28mm. I've been shooting with this focal length for years, so I can almost perfectly know every single thing in the frame and the boundaries of a 28mm frame depending on the angle and where the lens is pointed. So shooting from the hip really is my thing. I don't think in this broadcast you'll see me pull the viewfinder up to my eye at all.
In your camera? Like a Q?
Yeah. This is a Leica Q, which I think is, I've tried so many cameras, I think the Leica Q is, for me and for my needs, the best street photography camera that you can get. They really hit it out of the ballpark with this camera. For if I'm shooting film, which I do from time to time, I use a Yashica T5, which is awesome as well. And for my studio, landscape, or fine artwork, I use a Sony A7R II, which is perfect for that.
Yeah, that's a nice arsenal.
I know, that is a nice arsenal. I'm packing the heat. So right now I'm looking for colors that pop out and shapes that pop out. I saw a building over to our left. I think this is 50th on 50th. That is a teal color, right ended up against the black. But the lighting was terrible and it wasn't interesting enough to overlook the fact that the lighting is terrible. I do overlook the fact that the lighting is terrible many times when it's worth it. And if you look at my photographs, you'll probably notice that light is not the first thing on my mind when I'm shooting video. Because it's New York, it's dark and gray. You don't know me. I love the yellow. I was saying on the Instagram pre-show, I love shooting yellow. Yellow is a very New York color, which might be counterintuitive. Most people think gray when they think of New York, but yellow, we have so much yellow here, as you can see, including Ariba. I try to shoot it and make it work as much as possible because I'm so attracted to it, but it is a hard color to work with. It clashes with a lot of other colors. It can edit poorly, and according to psychologists and color theorists, yellow can provoke anxiety in people, and that's probably not the best idea for me, or maybe that is why I like it so much. I don't know. I think the lighting right now is creating really cool shadows on Ariba, one of my favorite restaurants in the city, actually. The light is creating really cool shadows on the yellow wall of Ariba, so I want to head over here and see if anything is going to come of it. What I do when I find a scene like this first that I want to plant my feet at, I stay for a few minutes, maybe up to 10 minutes, and get a sense of the energy and the foot traffic and just the vibe of the scene, and I'll know within 10 minutes if it's going to work out, if it's going to be cool or make anything good, or if I should keep walking. So for now, I want to get the vibe of this yellow wall and contrasting shadows and see what could happen over here.
I'm gonna go landscape. You guys tell me if it's not working. The camera doesn't flip for Facebook video. And yeah, totally like his shirt. Please let me know if the video doesn't flip in Facebook. Thanks, dude. So now we're just watching Jonathan as he checks out this nice little yellow wall with some shadow. Hello, Christina. I'll tell Jonathan you said what's up.
Out gathering intel of a scene that I like, I, as I said, look for the foot traffic and get a sense of the energy, but I'm also checking out various angles that I can play with, or through the window, or anything unique that could help me embellish the shot. So I was trying to see if the window right there, if anything interesting is on the other side that I could work into the entire scene.
Totally. Christina Kashtanova says hello.
Hi, Christina.
And so is Adam Mays.
Hi, Adam. Happy New Year, you guys. Happy MLK Day. Christina, we need to hang out soon. Thanks for watching. When I see something, sorry, I thought that was you. When I see something potential, like for instance,
sorry.
For instance, across the street from this yellow wall, there was a dude wearing yellow pants and a beanie. He looked very geeky, and he had a really cool dog. I was praying, crossing my fingers when they walked this way, that they would turn right in front of this wall, but they went forward, and that's what probably happens 90% of the time, because shit just doesn't work out. But I got a good vibe from this wall. I think I'll come back here and shoot it until I get something that I can work with. There are times when I will put a lot of time and energy into shooting an environment or a scene, and I get nothing from it. I try not to let it bring me down, but it does when you put that much time and you have such hope and optimism that you're going to have your next best shot. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often because I'm persistent. I'll wait for a long time. So now we're walking on 9th again, looking for the next thing that catches my eye and triggers something within me that's hard to explain. While we do this, we are going to look for interesting characters or geometry. I also do urban minimalism and urban abstract photography. So on these walks, I have to focus usually on what I'm looking for the day, but I try to be as present as possible. And if I can achieve a presence of mind, then on these walks, I'll sometimes notice what would make a good abstract or minimal shot, and I'll take that picture too.
Hey, so Adam has a question.
Yeah. Hi, Adam.
How much time do you spend out shooting or planning daily?
That's a great question. I will spend about 2 hours, I would say, 4 days a week, I would say, on average. In the summer, I'll let that truck go by. In the summer, that could be longer. In the summer, especially if I'm feeling it and having a really good day, I can spend up to 10 hours just strolling the streets. It's winter right now, so I'm doing about 2 hours, maybe 4 times a week. Oh, it was funny. I said you'll probably never see me look through the viewfinder during this broadcast, and the first thing I did at that yellow wall was compose through the viewfinder. I'm a hypocrite.
Someone else had a question. Christina says 10 hours sounds awesome. Let's do it one day.
Yes. It's a good workout on top of that. We'll do it, Christina. When you love a city like I love New York, you can't ask for a better hobby or even job, which is hard for me to call this. Because I'm working in the city, with the city, most days. It's like I said in one interview, I feel like my street photography is a collaboration with New York City. Because so much is. It's the other half to my equation. It's my other husband, my other partner. So 10 hours, spending 10 hours in good weather and good light is so easy to do when you love a city like I live in New York.
So yes, what do you love most about New York? What do you try to capture the most?
That's a really good question. And without getting too esoteric about it, I love the commingling of culture and people. And I love and I'm passionate about the energy that creates. Most people who've been here even just for one day can tell you that there is a palpable energy to New York City. And it's because there are so many people of different backgrounds and bringing their opinions and ideas and cultures to one small place. It just facilitates such a vibe that I've never felt anywhere else, and I've been all over the world. I'm addicted to it, and I try to show that. I hope that comes through in some of my photography. Okay, right here we have a good feeling. Right here we have good light. The sun is lower in the sky because it's later on a winter day. So it's not the direct, harsh, contrasty light that I like, but it's a good light. The blue is freaking gorgeous. And there's a lot of foot traffic in Hell's Kitchen, where you are lucky enough to have so many great, interesting characters doing anything you can imagine. So I want to wait right here for just a minute and see if anything unfolds, to see if anything magic happens here. I do hate this kind of an area where I'm so exposed and in the open, and it's very obvious that I'm standing here with a camera. I don't like that so much, usually because I'm shy and because I prefer to just be a ninja and unnoticed. I prefer areas where there's somewhere I can stand next to, like a tree or something, and it seems a little less creepy. I hate to use that word, but there are many people, especially in the city, who think photographing on the streets is creepy. I don't think it is at all, but you get that reputation. So what I'm going to look for is a good mix of color, a good color story with this blue wall. Ideally, it's not just a person walking by. Anyone can do that. You can see that anywhere. My philosophy is really work hard to make photographs that you feel no one else can do. Were you telling me that there was someone cool right there?
No, I just love the hat. I love the hat.
I love that whole look.
But yeah, we should work on some body language cues or something.
Yeah, we should. Secret signals. So yeah, as I was saying, I really hope I try not to just get pictures of people walking in front of something. It's effortless, and it could be cool, interesting people or a cool background, but people just walking in front of something doesn't tell a story, in my opinion. So I want to put some effort into shooting something that only I can do in my own way, and that has a narrative. And it's hard as hell. That's why we love it. We love a good challenge. I really like this area.
I'll step back a little bit.
Yeah. Careful. Oh, you can go on. Yeah, go on the other side.
Yeah,
of the bike.
yeah, we're good. Mike Paul, I'll ask you a question in a second. I gotta try to be inconspicuous too, so it doesn't draw attention to him. Just hang out by this truck. We're in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. You're welcome.
Definitely come back here. I got a good feeling. I have a premonition that something cool can come from that.
So Mike Paul wants to know if you've ever been confronted or dealt with like an angry person.
Great question, Mike. Yes, in fact, not too long ago, August of last year, I was in Berlin, and there were a group of guys, Hamburg, not Berlin, in Hamburg, near the red light district. And it was daytime, about this time of day. There was a really cool dude, just all tattooed up, working on his car, and it was an old beater car. The car was cool, it had a lot of character. Anyway, so I photographed him, and lo and behold, I had no idea, but across the street there was a bar, and there were a ton of dudes who were standing, drinking at the bar in front of the patio. It ended up that they saw me, they were friends with the dude, so they all ran over to the dude, told the dude that I was taking his photographs, and they were yelling at me in German, which I'm glad I don't speak German, because I don't want to know what they were saying. But I shouldn't have, but I did it anyway. I walked over to the guy to try and work it out, because the photo was amazing, it was so good. He switched to English and asked me to show him the photos, which I did. I was trying to tell him that they were great shots, and I didn't mean any disrespect, and I wasn't trying to exploit him in any way, but he wasn't having it. I think he was stoned out of his mind or something. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was acting off. But anyway, it almost got to a tense, violent point. He and his group of friends, probably about 6 of them, seemed like they were looking for a fight, and I didn't want to give them that excuse, so I offered to delete the images in front of him and walked away. That was last August. It happens very rarely, though. That was only the second time in my street photography career that's happened. Yeah. Usually, I haven't done this yet, but usually you can recover deleted photos from a card.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can. There's software that will extract files that you've deleted. I don't know much about it, but someone who I told the story to told me that it's possible, but at that point it was too late. And I don't even know if I would have done. Let's wait right here. I don't even know if I would have tried to do that. I really don't want bad energy out there or disrespect someone in that way. So I don't think I would have extracted the deleted file and shared it. He didn't want his picture taken. I can respect that. I can understand that. But it's possible. If it was an amazing shot, I don't know. I might have had to think about that.
Adam Mays says, shooting film helps in that scenario.
Yeah, it does.
It does, big time.
It does. You're so right. I also have a Leica M9, which is always confused for a film camera beside the screen. So if I had had that, I might have been able to use that excuse. But that's also a really good reason why the new Leica MD, I think it is, which is digital but does not have a screen. These kind of situations help me understand the appeal of digital with no screen. Let's walk up through here. Let's go this way. So we've lost the light a little bit. It's behind a building, as is typical in Manhattan. But still, colors pop out to me. And the light is not terrible. So I'm going to walk through this little park off of 9th Avenue.
57th.
57?
Yeah.
You know what?
He's shooting with the Leica Q. Christina.
I think if it were earlier in the day, I would probably decide to hang out in this park with the greens and the red and the activity. If the light had been direct and better, I would probably spend more time there. Maybe I'll come back. We'll see. There's so much in New York that if it's not pitch perfect for what you are personally looking for, you might not want to waste your time coming back to a spot, because there's always going to be something worth shooting around the corner. Every time I have to wait, whether it's for a light or in a line or even for the train, I am always scanning the environment for something worth pulling the shutter for. Some of my favorite shots that I've made have happened in those moments where I wasn't expecting to shoot, where I was waiting for something or stalled for some reason. So, as we all have heard at this time, it's always good to have a camera on you. In fact, the best camera we have is the one that's on you. But nothing good happened in that moment. So that story was about nothing.
Mike Paul asks, what else is in your bag? Because he keeps snacks in a little flask of tea in his. That's what his question.
I keep a big flask of a certain kind of tea in mine. Oh, I like this light. That's cool. What else is in my bag? I have my film camera, Yashica T5. I don't really pull it out. I'm so happy with this. But if I see something that would work better on Velvia or Portra, then I'll pull out my Yashica and shoot it. It's also weatherproofed, and this might be, but I don't even want to risk it. So if it starts to rain, I'll start shooting on my Yashica. My big flask of Kratom tea.
That's the magic tea.
It's the magic tea. It's what keeps me going and ready to handle confrontations if they occur. I have a book for the subway, which I never read because I always see something that I want to shoot. And extra batteries, cleaning kit. I'm always cleaning this. Dust, especially in Manhattan, dust and particles will get picked up on the lens frequently, so I'm always cleaning it. I have a great cleaning kit. Lens pen, I think is what it's called. And I have 3 batteries for this. This can be a battery hog. And that's about it. That's what I usually have. I also am starting to do 360 photography and 360 filming, and I think I brought it today. So I have a Ricoh Theta S to do 360 recording. That's in my bag also. I'm excited to show you all what I've been working on with that. Don't have anything yet, but stay tuned for 360 street photography. I wanted to stop here because the light's good, and there were a lot of interesting people with good colors passing through. But it might have been a fleeting moment.
Christine, I'll ask you a question after you've done sussing this area out.
You need help?
You want to work this a little bit?
What?
You want to work this a little bit and I'll pull back?
Yeah, whatever. What's good to try to do is isolate a subject in the light against a dark background, obviously. So there's a great spot right here where the light is filtered. And as people walk, the shadows behind them help really make the subject pop. So that could be a good spot to return to at this time of day. It's kind of hard to find those. Actually, not in Midtown, you can find them a lot. But I'm more looking for scenes than people right now, so let's keep walking.
Who are your favorite street photographers right now?
Oh, right now. Good. I'm glad there was a specific part to that question because that list could go on. Right now, Matt Stewart. I love Matt Stewart. I think he's at Matt Stew on Instagram. Maybe not. Matt Stewart. Jesse Marlowe is absolutely one of my favorites. Look up his work if you're not familiar. He's doing great stuff out of Australia. Michael Ernest Sweet, who's a mentor of mine. He's based in Queens, but he's known for shooting Coney Island. Look up his work, it's insane. He captures Coney Island like I've never seen anyone else capture. And Mark Beckenbach, my producer here, he's freaking phenomenal. He's really crystallized a style that I've never seen before that is poetic and romantic. So look up him all over social media. Those are probably my four. I have so many though. Those are the four that immediately come to mind.
Who else do you get inspiration from? Like just not currently, but in general?
Henry Cartier-Bresson, HCB in general, is one of my main influences. Old school stuff. Even outside of photography, I get a lot of inspiration from Mondrian, especially for my minimal abstract work around the city. Mondrian is probably my biggest influence for minimal photography. Love him. Filmmakers really inspire me too. Stanley Kubrick is a huge inspiration to me. Even his still photography is amazing, but just his vision for a scene really inspires me. So I draw inspiration from all over genres and mediums. Whatever sparks something within me, I'll find. But those are some of the general inspirational sources that I turn to regularly.
Do you spot meter? How do you work with light if it's very harsh?
I do not spot meter. I multi-meter. I have it set to all over. which can be a problem with harsh light, especially if you're shooting, I think, a person who's the focus of the shot in the direct sunlight in a complex scene. It might not be the best way to meter, but that's not really my style, that kind of street portraiture. So I think I get away with the automatic multi-metered setting, especially for more of these environmental portrait shots or scenes that I'm known for. Good question. As I said, that can be an issue sometimes. I would probably prefer, I need to learn how to switch between metering modes faster on the camera. If I could, I would probably prefer to spot meter for a portrait. But I have my exposure value set to -1 usually, and there is a lot of flexibility in Leica's DNGs. So even if the lighting is off, fixing it in post-processing is not an issue for exposure matters for me. It would make my life easier if I was able to switch between metering and more versatile in that way, but that's not what I do. I want to go back to Columbus Circle. I think the light will be better back there. Now it's the canyon of darkness in New York at that hour. I do not see any sunlight.
Did you make that up? Is that a thing?
No, I don't know. Is that a thing?
It should be a thing. It is the canyons of darkness.
There's no light as far as the eye can see. So we're going to turn toward Columbus Circle and see if there's any light down there. But as I said earlier in the broadcast, especially if you are just tuning in now, as I said earlier, light is not my predominant motivating factor for pulling the shutter. If you look at my work, you will largely notice that lighting is not what I'm attracted to. It's difficult to shoot in Midtown, my favorite place to shoot, and be very concerned with lighting. Ideally, I would love a great shot and a great scene to be well lit and have beautiful lighting, but in Midtown, that's very difficult to pull off all those things perfectly. So lighting is one of the last things on my mind. Noise.
Mike Paul asks you, how have you seen the New York City street photography movement change with NYCSPC and what Jorge's doing?
That's a great question, Mike. Thank you. I think George could probably answer that question better, but I did join that group not too long after they formed, maybe a few months after they formed. So I do kind of have a little bit of a sense of how it's changed since then. But I think the biggest effect the collective has had on New York street photography scene is that it's given us a community. Before, there would be cliques and people would know one another and you would see someone out shooting and say hi. But the collective has given us a way to support each other in a new dimension and in new ways that weren't possible before. Share ideas and really lift each other up and grow together. Before, I feel in my experience, before the collective, there was more of a competitive dynamic between individual street photographers in the city, which is understandable. Any artistic endeavor, there's going to be competition. But I think the collective has eased that a little bit. It's not non-existent. There is still the competitive thing going on, but I think the collective has brought us closer together and given us a good home and kind of a family-like structure. I think in 10 years we could do, maybe 20, we could do a visual assessment and look at what the majority of photography coming out of New York was like before and after the collective. I wonder if it would look any different. Ask me in 20 years. I'll definitely look at that. I think street photography in general has changed a lot over the past decade. I've been called in interviews by critics very frequently by definition modern street photographer, and I love it. I think that's great. I think it's a sign that the genre is evolving and becoming contemporary, and we're seeing the world with fresh eyes. So I love that there's a distinction between new school and old school, and I'm excited to see where that goes for sure. All right. There's not much light here either, which is totally fine. I just look better in the good lighting, that's all. That's all I care about. Let's head over back to the circle. Okay, as Mark and I head back to where we started, Columbus Circle, I want to thank Mark so much for helping me produce this. Please look him up on social media, Mark Beckenbach.
You got it, dude. My pleasure.
We're in a group show in a few weeks with the New York City Street Photographers Collective in Brooklyn at the Living Gallery.
The Living Gallery, yeah.
Yeah, January 26th, I think.
Yeah,
that weekend of that. So if you're in the area, please come support us and the other amazing street photographers who are in this collective, and buy some prints and support the art community. It should be a phenomenal show. I'm very excited for that. Follow the Street Photography Collective on Instagram. I think you can look up New York City Street Photography Collective, or the handle is NYCSPC. Also, I am in the middle of a takeover for GUP magazine. I think it's pronounced GUP. It's a print photography publication based out of Amsterdam, who I've been following for years, and a few weeks ago they blew my mind when they asked me to take over their Instagram for 10 days. So I'm taking over their Instagram until January 21st. It's really nerve-wracking, and I would appreciate your support if you head over there and check out what I'm doing with their feed. We also have, I think that's it.
Your other Instagram handles, maybe?
Oh yeah, my other Instagram handles. As you know, I'm Alive as the City on Instagram. That's my main street portfolio. I also do, as I mentioned, urban abstract and urban minimalism on Instagram as well. That is at Typical Anomaly. I do share some of that on this Facebook page too, so if you want a sense of what that is like, check out photos from this page. And I have Rando from Higbee. That's my other account. That's my personal account. That's a repository for anything that's not street focused. It has landscape, it has fine art, it has just rando stuff. But it's fun. It's doing well over there too. So I really appreciate everyone tuning in today and all the fantastic questions. Mark and I are going to assess how this went, process it, and if you guys think it's a good idea, and if we think it's a good idea, we might do this regularly and incorporate some new dynamics into it, like potentially interviews with fellow New York City street photographers. Maybe Mark and I will do a walk together. So please let us know how you feel about this, and if this is something you want to see more of, let us know, because we are happy to do it. I really, really want to give back some of the fortune and the experience that I've learned. I really want to give back to the community that has been so helpful to me over the years. And so hopefully I at least accomplished that, even if this is the only time I ever do this. Hopefully you learned something more. But thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next time.